Hey, what's up, Ali? So, I have a quick question. Most dentists sign contracts with big marketing agencies thinking they're setting their practice up for success. But instead, I mean, you've seen this in forums and Facebook groups, Dental Town, they end up trapped or overpaying for a website and SEO that delivers zero new patients. So, how does this happen and how can someone break free from this?
Sometimes breaking free is not that easy because you're in a contract. So step one is unfortunately looking at some of the fine print. Some of these companies, they lock you in, you sign a 1-year contract. We'll get into the contracts in a minute, but either big agency, small agency, or whoever you sign up with. And unfortunately, the price range goes from $100 a month to thousands, 10,000s a month. I see people paying $2,300 for one blog post. The prices all over the place. There's guys in the garage in their mom's house to big companies with legit teams and, actual people that have good reviews and are out there, the companies that are more well-known. You just have to do your homework. Breaking free sometimes, once you sign, it might be too late, but there are ways to make the most of the relationship. We'll go into kind of what to look out for before you even sign up. And again, we do dental websites and marketing. There's many other companies. There's a lot of these companies that focus on dental marketing. And of course, there's good ones, there's bad ones. I may get hated on after this video because I'm so transparent and honest, and I like to put out there what's true in the industry. The good companies, when they hear this, they're going to actually say he's right, and they're going to know my points, and they're valid to the companies that are taking people's money, wasting people's money, saying I know SEO, taking their ad money, doing junk work, and charging people and getting them in contracts. These are the guys to watch out for.
Gotcha. So let's talk about how dentists get trapped in these marketing handcuffs. Can you break down the most common ways these big marketing companies lock dentists into expensive, low ROI contracts?
Typically, it's the sales pitch. It typically starts from something in the sales that sounded really good to the dentist. Why would you pay, I don't know, 20K for a website? Something sounded good to you before you signed that you want to pay 10, 20K for a website. What made you make that decision? Was it the branding? Was it because it included a photo, video shoot, which in some cases that may be worth the money if you're going to get photos and videos and photo shoots out of it. So you have to see. You're the decision maker. You're not getting handcuffed or a gun to your head to sign any contract. So before you do, make sure you're seeing what you're getting, read the fine print. If you're making a decision to spend a lot of money on a website and marketing, make sure you ask them, can I see some results? Can I see some rankings? Can I see some of your happy clients? Mention how good you are, because unfortunately you could hire the best sales guy. There's companies that are hiring like sales consultants from Wall Street to come train their dental sales team. And these guys will sell anything and tell anyone anything to get them to sign up. Then you see they're jumping to the next dental marketing company. And they're just a bunch of salespeople just saying anything to get deals. Companies just caring about customer acquisition, selling off to the bigger corporates. There's a lot of that stuff in the game. So make sure you know what you're getting into. Make sure you trust the person you're speaking to. Make sure it's not just some random sales guy that just came from the next guy and the competitor down the street. And they're not just telling you a bunch of fluff that sounds good. The fluff being AI tools that nobody has. The fluff being we know things at Google that nobody knows. The reports they send you and they say, oh, all your stuff's broken from page speed to links. Check all these things. Take it with a grain of salt. Review it with 2 other guys. Whenever I do an assessment, I always ask the doctor, am I the first person you spoke to? And they say, yeah. I say, please go speak to some other companies. And I sometimes even mention some of the big ones that don't have a name, that you see yourself on these groups. There's so many fly-by-night marketing companies. There's so many random guys that say I'm the SEO god. There's so many of these weird Facebook ads you see that say, I'm going to guarantee you 80 patients a month through my funnel that clicks or your money back. If those things were good, nobody would be working with us. They would all be working with those 80 patient a month companies. Typically, a lot of these guys hire those companies, then they hate marketing. They think every company is like that. And then they get a back taste in their mouth, and we have to earn their trust and love back. So it's up to you to do your homework. If you have not gotten into any agreements yet, if you're looking to do a website, this video should be a good awareness to look at some things. If you're already in an agreement and in a contract, look at what you're getting, try to work with the company, try to do an assessment with me. I'll give you info as a friend you could take to them, see if what you're doing is worth it, and make sure you're getting the most. And if you're in a contract with a company that you don't like, or you don't see a value, or you're paying too much and you don't see a return, then you should start weighing out your options. When is the contract over? We're going to go to that word Michael used in the beginning, break free. Contracts obviously can be broken, but sometimes you're signing 1-year agreements. I don't want to name any companies, but this is going on in not just the dental marketing, but any industry. You have to read the fine print. A lot of companies not only lock you in 1 year, possibly 2 years, they have an auto-renew clause, meaning if you're not like Cinderella at 12 a.m. at the ball, you're going to auto-renew for another year. You're not going to remember that you have to claim the cancellation by this date. Then you're on another auto-renew. What happens when you want to break free? Penalties. You have to pay 75% of the remaining agreement. You have to pay X amount back to the company. They may keep your domain. There's so many random things going on. That's why, unfortunately, it's become the Wild West. So do your homework, vet the company, ask other clients, see their work, see their results, and then choose the company. See if it fits your budget. Don't just fall for the fancy talk and the fancy stuff. If you see a lot of fanciness and you see if it sounds great, and you see it costs $5,000 a month, and you're a startup and you're taking all your money and putting it into a fancy site and some ads, that may not work well for you. If you just bought a practice from a retiring dentist and you jump into throwing all your money on ads in a fancy website, and the team that you're taking over does not know how to answer phones, you got tons of money to be made with the current patients that you still are not settled in with, focus on that and then do your homework, take your time, talk to some companies. It's not like if you jump into marketing and SEO tonight, you're going to have results tomorrow. It takes time. So sleep on it. Do your homework. Look at the contract. Look at the little fine terms. Some companies have things like you cannot post a review on them. I think it's called like a non-disparagement agreement. You cannot talk about them. Even after you fire them, you can't talk about them. Good or bad. That's kind of weird, right? Like you should be able to really speak about your experience. Of course, tracking someone and saying malicious and lies is one thing, but you could say, hey, I didn't get results and I didn't like the company. The service was great, whatever, I moved on. That's okay, but you can't block someone from saying something true. So be careful what's in those agreements. If it's 10 pages deep, it's only marketing and website. This is not like your x-ray machine with FDA clearances. This is just a website and marketing. If it's 10 pages deep, you're going to have to pay a lawyer probably $1,000 to just review that for you and make sure you're not getting into anything. So know what you're getting into. Trust the company, get a good vibe. Don't just fall in a fancy design and a fancy sales pitch. Don't go for the guy that's in the nicest suit with the fanciest iPad that's having gators on and he said, I help patients make 80 times their ROI. Hey, let me see your work. Let me see that guy that made us 80% ROI. Can I talk to him? Has he ever put a testimonial? Ask them the basics, the questions that you would ask yourself when you want to hire someone, what you want to find, and be realistic. Don't think that the marketing company is going to put patients, or as Michael likes to say, cheeks in seats. Don't think that's going to happen with SEO or the marketing company alone. Marketing is one end, sales is the other. The sales happens as soon as the phone call or the form comes in. That's another point that you have to pay attention to. So sometimes, and please take no offense to this, the doctor may have mismanaged expectations, or they're not looking at the internal tracking, or they're not communicating with the marketing or their team, and they think it's bad, and they just are not informed enough to make that decision.
Are you locked into an expensive marketing contract with nothing to show for it? Most lock you into long-term contracts and overpriced services, but DocSites is different. No contracts, no hidden fees, just affordable, results-driven websites and SEO. Your practice, your brand, your success without the premium price tag. So ditch what you think is overpriced and visit DocSites.com today. That's DocSites.com, or go in the show notes below and click on the first link in the show notes below to go to the DocSites website. And if you mention the Dental Marketer podcast or this episode, you will get $500 off any promotion happening right now. So go visit DocSites.com today. Gotcha. Interesting. So then sometimes, Ali, it does look like maybe you've seen this. There's like invisible chains that keep them stuck with this company. Not so much, oh, I'm related to the person or I'm related to the owner of the marketing company, but more so, I don't know, maybe the practice owner is justifying. So, what is the biggest lie marketing agencies tell practice owners to justify their high
You're
prices?
going to lose everything if you cancel. Everything's going to go back to zero. Your web presence that we've worked on for years is going to be trashed. That's not true. First of all, the real estate, the values in your domain name. You could change your site 100 times as long as you follow the best practices with redirects and 301s and telling Google this page is now this page. You're not likely to lose the results. I'm not saying change your website every year, but sometimes when you switch companies like us and many companies, they require you to update and change your website. Why? Because they can get you better results on their engine versus somebody else's. Like taking the Nissan to the Honda.
Mm,
Honda will work on it, but they typically don't know the car and don't want to touch it. So one thing to look at is that's not true. They're going to scare you and say you're going to lose everything. There's also a huge misconception with ownership and the website game and like you must own your files and host. Yes, you must own your domain name. You must own your Google profile. You must own your reviews, your Facebook, your content, your photos. That's all yours. But there's a big misconception of like, you must own your files and your WordPress or whatever, some people Webflow and this and that. Either way, you're paying some hosting company. Some of these companies, they lead you to say you own everything, but you're also paying them for hosting. They're hosting your sites. If you cancel with them, you got to go move it and reconfigure it. And so it becomes a used car in the garage that, yes, you own, but nobody wants to touch it. Multiple mechanics have had their hands in the engine. That company might have stripped away 10 things when you cancel with them. So these are the things to watch out for when it feels a little like you're going to lose everything. Everything's going to drop. If you cancel everything, if it feels like that, then it's usually just them trying to scare you. It's not the end of the world. It's a website. You're not going to lose anything. Make sure they're not holding your domain hostage. Basically, when you sign up, you kind of know what you're going to leave with if you cancel. A lot of companies just use the company's platform. They use their domain and their hosting with the company that's included in the monthly fee. And if they ever leave the company, the domain and content is still theirs. They just find a different housing, which the next company usually says you have to move over to anyway. So to answer your question, when someone tries to leave one of these companies, if it's sounding too much like scare tactics, you're going to lose, you're going to break, you're going to not get traffic. You could say, hey, buddy, I wasn't even getting leads to begin with. So what's going to break if I switch? And then, just switch and see in a few months, maybe, yes, there will be a couple of hiccups on Google, but it's not the end of the world and you'll recover. There's no such thing as if you change your site or if you cancel with us or the next guy, everything goes back to zero. That's not true.
Gotcha. Okay. So then, if you had to, what are 3 immediate steps someone should take if they suspect they're in a bad marketing contract?
Check your contract. Make sure you're not going to be auto-renewed or auto-locked in again. Make sure you're comfortably able to get out of it. Make sure you know what you're getting when you get out of it. Is the domain in your account? Is it in their account? Are they going to transfer it to you? What happens to the forms? Are they doing your email? There's a lot of questions that go into some of these companies. And again, I'm blasting the shady stuff out there. And I don't care if people get mad because the good companies will like these tips. They get you so into the all-in-one type of solutions where it's hard to get out of. It's hard to now cancel. Now they have your email. They have your domain. They have your web files. They have your software. Now it's like switching is a little harder, even though it's not like switching your internet and it's pretty easy. And we actually have something called an easy site transfer where we hold your hand through this process, but they make it difficult. Just yesterday, I spoke to someone that said like, man, I just wanted to cancel. And like, it became such a headache that I don't even want to do it anymore. And the headache is you must have an exit interview with us first before we let you cancel. Like they're forcing the guy to get on the phone. So another guy could try to convince him of how great this is, how justify it. When the guy just wants to cancel, it shouldn't be that hard. This is not a cone beam or this is not an x-ray machine. This is a website. This is some marketing. You're able to switch. You're able to try different companies. You shouldn't be free. You should not be handcuffed. You should not use words like break free and I'm scared and non-disparagement and annual renewals. These words are not fun for anyone.
Okay, interesting. So then they figure this out. They're like, okay, I need to transition out of this. They take your three immediate steps that you just mentioned. So if they are stuck in this contract, they're keeping an eye on it. What's the fastest way to start transitioning out?
Just talk to a few companies, talk to myself, talk to another company, and do your homework. Let's say your contract is up in July and you don't want to pay the 75% cancellation penalty. Make sure you're able to cancel in July. Get that info on how, when do I have to cancel. If they're going to make you jump through hoops and do exit interviews and whatnot, you probably sign for that and you have to deal with that. Just say, hey guys, I already decided to move on. I just want to make this transition easy. Please let me go. Unfortunately, it sucks. That's how it's become. But when they make it really hard to leave is when a red flag should go up. Why is it hard to leave? Are people trying to leave so fast that you're making it so hard to leave?
Yeah.
The reason, yes, you're trying to sell to a corporate model that has to have the attrition rate. If the company cares only about the client acquisition and the corporate model and who will buy them one day, that's not a good company. Look at their service, what they're doing. Are they putting you first? Are they putting their pricing there? Everything's easy. Hey, if you don't like us, the door's open. We make it so easy to leave. Why would we force someone to stay with us if they don't like us for any reason? Let's say they got good results, but they just hate me personally for whatever reason. They don't like the way I speak and they want to leave. Why would I force them to stay with me another year and all the time just say, I hate Ali, I hate whatever. And no one's happy. If it doesn't make sense, let it go. I'm happier, they're happier, and life moves on.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so then what's the one question every practice owner or dentist should ask before signing a marketing contract?
Why should I get in a 1-year agreement with you? If it's not a contract, then, it's more comfortable. It's easier to get into. Of course, just as there's no contract, don't say, I'm going to do SEO for 2 months and then, oh, it didn't work. Jump to the next guy. Because SEO takes time. Marketing takes time. Let's give credit to the good marketing companies. All that stuff about patient experience, phone call, tracking, monitoring, following up, all that matters. So it's not just always a bad marketing company. It's sometimes bad internal systems. It's sometimes bad follow-up and leads and phone call answering. So give the marketing credit company a chance. Don't get into the relationship already hating them. Get into something you're comfortable with that you're like, okay, this guy sounds honest. This company looks legit. They have hundreds of clients or they have 5 clients that do well. Maybe my colleague has used them. I got a word of mouth referral. Not just every sales guy is saying this company is great on Facebook. That's not what to look for.
Interesting. Okay. And you guys can do this, right? Like, where can dentists go to audit their current marketing strategy and see if they're stuck in handcuffs?
Just go to docsites.com, click out our contact form, mention the dental marketer TDM. I'm telling you, as a friend, as the company owner, there's no hard sales tactics. I've done 100 or so of these assessments since July, and I would say many of them have been in contracts. Many of them are still stuck. They just got good info. They just went to that current guy and said, hey, you never told me I should show my 300 reviews. Please add them on my homepage. And now his phone calls are improved. Just basic thing, little thing. We're too caught up in technical SEO, AI, this, that, geofence, and all these fancy jargon words. Look at your site. Would you call a doctor that has old stock photos, or would you call someone that showcases their practice properly, cares for their first impression, shows the work, shows the reviews? That's who I would call.
Yeah. Awesome. So definitely go in the show notes below. Click on the first link in the show notes below to get your free web assessment right now. And at the same time, if you mention the podcast, the Dental Marketer Podcast, you get an exclusive deal. Any final words, Ali?
Thank you so much, Michael. Thanks for having me. Again, do your homework. Not every marketing company is bad. There's a lot of good ones out there. You guys probably have seen them. Go to your colleagues, go to the Facebook dental group, go to Google, search the company, see what others are saying, get a good feel for them, make a good decision. Don't get sold by the fancy suits and the nice sales pitches. That's good and fine, but make sure they can deliver on that same pitch. So hopefully this helped create some more awareness in the industry. And thank you, Michael.
Awesome. So you can definitely go in the show notes below, click on the first link to get your free web assessment, or you can talk to Ollie as well in the Dental Marketer Society Facebook group. And the link to that Facebook group is going to be in the show notes as well. But Ollie, thank you so much, and we'll hear from you soon.
Great.